Hey 340, Mr. Downs here, and I'm just taking some time to water my houseplant, but it got me thinking, why do I even have a houseplant? Let me back it up just a second though. I want to introduce you guys to my houseplant. It's a snake plant, originally from West Africa in Nigeria, but now it's found itself in my apartment in South Dakota. Back to my question though. Why would I want a houseplant? I mean, sure, it looks interesting and it certainly adds a lot to the decorations that I have in my apartment, but beyond that, is there any other reason why I would want a houseplant? When I was looking into reasons for getting and having houseplants, I stumbled across an article that talked about how having houseplants makes the air in your apartment or home cleaner. I decided to do a little bit more research on that claim. I had questions in my head like, well, how many houseplants do I need for one person? And is this a big enough houseplant to support a person the size of me? One thing that I found out was that to support one person with enough oxygen in their home, you would need about 300 to 500 different houseplants scattered around. I also found this too. Right here on my countertop, I have marked off about 1 square foot. That's a foot long on each of these 4 sides to make a square. It turns out that in order to have enough plants that produce enough oxygen to keep a person alive, you would need to fill each square foot, like this in your apartment, with 10 different houseplants. That's a lot of plants. In order for a human being like you or me to be able to survive thanks to plants because they give us oxygen, we need about 8 to 9 trees dedicated solely for us, or about 300 to 500 of these plants. A plant like the snake plant that has bigger leaves like this produces more oxygen than a plant like a cactus or something that tends to grow in a lot of sunlight, something that has smaller leaves or even no leaves at all. If you want to put more oxygen and fresh air in your home, you are going to want a plant that has broader, thicker leaves like this one. It turns out that houseplants are also natural humidifiers. A humidifier is something that keeps the air humid or moist. You might have seen a humidifier that looks like this before, or a humidifier that looks like this before. I want you to take a deep breath in with me right now. And then I want you to exhale. We just exhaled carbon dioxide. Through a process called transpiration, a plant exhales moisture. That's where we get some humidity from a plant in the house. Transpiration is the process of moisture leaving the leaves of a plant and having it go into the air around you. It's important to have some humidity in the air around you, some moisture in the air around you, because without it, a lot of times we can get cracked skin, you can get nosebleeds. Humidity is also important because it benefits the health of your lungs and your breathing, as well as your skin too. So having plants in the house is a good way of keeping a humidity level up, especially if it's a broadleaf plant like this one. Another reason why it turns out you might want to have living plants in your home is because they are known to improve your mental health. They make you more comfortable, make you more relaxed, and can decrease your stress. Right now, I want to show you guys something that I have. I have here a clay pot version of Baby Groot from the Avengers. Have you ever seen something that looks like this before? This is no ordinary clay pot though. This is a chia planter. A chia planter allows you to spread seeds around it and then they sprout and it looks like Baby Groot has a green afro or green all around the base here. I want to show you how to create a chia planter and put the chia seeds on it, and then we'll be able to check in with our friend Baby Groot and see how much he's growing in future episodes. The first step when planting your chia planter is to completely submerge your planter, in our case our Baby Groot, into the water completely and let it soak for a half hour. The next step when planting your chia planter is to put about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds into a bowl and to mix it with a 1/4 cup of water. You're going to let this set and stir it occasionally for the next half hour or so until it becomes thick and jelly-like. While we're waiting for our chia seeds and our chia planter to soak, let's take a look at some other unique chia planters and houseplants from around the world. Chia planters can come in a lot of unique and fun forms. One of those ways is in the form of a llama chia planter. Here is a Chewbacca chia planter from Star Wars, and a unicorn chia planter. I'm thinking of a few of you when I saw this one. Let's move on to some unique houseplants. This is called a Tracheandra houseplant. I think it's unique because it has kind of the spirally, curly looking leaves. This is called an air plant. An air plant grows without any soil at all. All you have to do is dip your air plant in water for 2 to 3 hours once a week. And this is an octopus plant. An octopus plant is a carnivorous plant, meaning that it eats insects. The insects will go and land on one of the octopus's arms and it'll curl up as if an octopus was curling its tentacle. A fun fact about this plant is that I bought one for us once, right before school started, but I couldn't keep it alive long enough. So it's been about a half hour, and if we look at our chia seeds, you can see how thick and kind of jelly-like they've made. They kind of look nasty, but that's what we want when we start spreading them on Baby Groot here. So we've got our friend Baby Groot here. And what you want to do is you want to get like a small butter knife or a spoon, and then you're going to want to spread the chia seeds as evenly as possible over the areas that you want the seeds to eventually grow. I took some time to try to make it even on the top there and then also around this base. I think he looks pretty well covered, and I have enough seeds left over that I can redo him in about 10 days when the plants that sprout on him start to turn brown. I think that this looks like a good place for our Baby Groot chia planter. I'm gonna have to remember to water him in the middle in the next couple days after those seeds dry on there so that they stay moist and then they can sprout.